Is it? Hey, what's up? Is it Bryn or Brian or how am I saying that?
It's Bryn.
It is Bryn. Okay. How you doing,
Yeah.
Bryn?
Good, good. Okay,
Good.
so I have a couple of questions.
I have a couple answers. Let's hope
Um,
they match.
all right, let's do it. So Aboleth Spawn is, and it comes with copying other things too. So like Aboleth Spawn has
Slash word two. When a creature
whenever
entering
a
the
creature enters.
battlefield under opponent's control causes a triggered ability of that creature to trigger, you may copy that ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. Gotcha.
Okay, so first, I have like three questions about this one specifically. So for example, let's say I have a Dawnbreaker Cleric enter on the opponent's side of the field. So it says when it enters the battlefield, choose one. Cure will gain 2 life, destroy target enchantment, exile target card.
Right.
When it copies the ETB, it's just like you're copying a spell, right? You have to pick the same exact one, correct?
So yeah. So by default, when you are copying a spell or ability on the stack, by default you are copying that spell or ability exactly as it exists on the stack. It's just that that's why a lot of these copy effects will tell you specifically you may choose new targets, because if it didn't say that, you wouldn't be able to choose new targets. So
Yeah.
by that though, if it's something with several modes to choose from, you have to stay with the mode that was chosen unless the copy effect gives you that ability to change modes. But most copy effects don't. They only say you can
Don't.
choose new targets. Right.
Okay.
Hold on.
All right.
TS does stand for tech support.
It does not. It absolutely does not. No. No.
I
I just file everything under the error code ID10T and call it a day. While he's bringing that up, what were you about to ask about Leonin Arbiter? What you got going on?
Say we're inside the tournament. Okay?
Yeah.
Player A casts this card's in play. Everyone knows it's in play. It's been explained, right? In fact, somebody missed it 2 turns ago. So player A tries casting Demonic Tutor, and then he asks for priority. He says, "Hey, is this good? Does this resolve?" Everyone says, "No counters." Yep, it resolves. We all agree it resolves. Then he goes, "Okay, I'll pay 2 for Leonin Arbiter," and I call judge. What do you think the outcome is?
Oh. What's the reason you're calling the judge? What are you claiming?
So let's say you're the judge in the situation. I call you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see how it goes, okay? So I call judge, and everyone's confused why I'm calling judge. And you say, "What's up?" And I said, he cast a Demonic Tutor. He asked for a round of priority, verifying that we're not countering it, expecting it to resolve. And he tries to pay for Leonin Arbiter's ability, but he doesn't have priority at the time.
Gotcha. Okay, so I see what your point is there. Let me double check.
I did this in a tournament, and I want you to try and guess what happened.
You were the person searching, or you were the person calling the judge?
I was seat 2. He was seat 1. He was the one casting Demonic Tutor in seat 1.
Mm-hmm.
Asked for priority. No one countered his spell. He said okay. He tried to pay Leonin Arbiter's ability after that, and I called the judge.
Right. Okay. So an effect like that, although it's not like an activated ability that uses the stack or anything like that, it would be considered a special action that can still only be done when that player has priority. So the player casts the tutor and and checks for responses and nobody responds, they don't get priority before it starts to resolve. So
correct.
Yeah, so they would have performed an illegal action or misplay or something along those lines. Yeah.
That's correct. So he was trying to play it in such a way where he can verify that he doesn't have to pay 2 in a way of gambling his mana away.
Sure.
If he pays the 2 extra,
and then somebody counters it or something, then he's just wasted the 2 mana. Yeah.
Exactly. And now he's actually opened a table up for everyone to counter. No, search, because players can search, because any player can play this ability. So he doesn't want to be the guy who pays it and then has to search.
Well, no, a player paying 2 can only give themselves permission to ignore the effect. Like me paying 2 doesn't give you.
You're right. Yeah. It says that player.
Yeah.
My bad. Sorry. Anyways, so
but in any event, he didn't want to pay for the search and then find out that he wasn't going to get to search because somebody countered it or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm reading it now. So yeah, that's what happened. I called the judge over, and the judge said, "Well, you asked for priority. We all agreed, and you don't get priority after the spell results." And I didn't know about this interaction until that game because the person before me in the first round was talking his off about Transmute Artifact.
Right.
You know this card.
Yeah.
So I cast Transmute Artifact, and he asked me, "Are you going to hold priority?" And I said, "Why?" And he goes, "Because your only artifact's a Soul Ring, and you got to tap for mana before the spell resolves." I'm like, "How does that work?" And he goes, "Oh, it's like this. If you were to pass priority, asking if anyone's going to counter it, you don't get priority again when the spell resolves, and that mana you're going to float the Soul Ring can't pay for it's whatever you're getting for."
Right.
I was like, "Is that how that works? That's crazy." He's like, "Yeah." I'm like,
Yeah, because you can
I'll
only
priority,
activate
I'll
mana
pass
abilities
through."
whenever you have priority, or if an effect is specifically asking you to pay that mana. Like me paying mana as part of the resolution of your Rhystic Study trigger, I can activate mana abilities while your trigger is resolving to pay for it. You know, that type of thing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so I learned about this mana rule and how it uses. I didn't think mana used priority up to then. This is a while back. This is like 8 months ago. So I learned about it then, and I was like, "That's kind of freaking cool." So then the next game, I had my Leonin Arbiter in play, which I just played to mess with the black players, so they had to pay extra. It was kind of like I was playing Staxi deck,
Yeah.
and I was like, "This has to work the same way, right? This has to be." But it turns out that Leonin Arbiter is a special, what do you call those things? A special action.
It's a special
This
action
is-
along the same lines of like playing a land for turn as a special action, or turning a morph creature face up as a special action. Yeah, you can do it without using the stack, but it's still like nobody can interact with you paying 2 for Leonin Arbiter because it doesn't use the stack. It's a special action, but you still have to have priority to do it. Yes.
Exactly, and I figured they were like the same thing. Now they're two different things, but they pretty much perform the same way.
Anyway, go ahead, Nikolai. So, Iroh Grand Lotus, awesome card. Having fun with it.
Yep, a lot of fun. But I have been playing this cephalid, or I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Cephalid Coliseum.
Cephalid Coliseum. So I was playing in a game, and I used Cycle of Renewal to sacrifice it, not paying the blue and tap cost. Would I still get the sacrifice effect?
Let me see. Pay 1 life, sack. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's not clicking correctly.
So you're not activating the ability to tap and draw 3 discard, right? You're just using a different way to sack it?
Yeah, I'm just using Cycle of Renewal. It says sacrifice a land, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. But if I decide to sacrifice this, wouldn't I get the sacrifice this land?
No.
ability?
So what's happening is if you have something with an activated ability and part of that cost is sacrificing it, right? So like in this instance, the land ability, the land's activated ability says sacrifice this land as part of its activated cost, right? It doesn't say when you sacrifice this land. It says sacrifice the land. So what happens is you're sacrificing a land as part of the resolution of Cycle of Renewal. You are not sacrificing that land to the cost of activating its own ability. So no, you don't get both benefits on that one. Now, like I said, if it said when you sacrifice this land, then
when
yes.
you sacrifice, gotcha.
Yeah. So like for example, there's an artifact called Heaped Harvest. It's a food artifact, but it's a card. It's not a token food, right? And it has the ability that foods have, to the ability to pay mana, sacrifice it, gain life, right? But it has a trigger on it that says when you sacrifice this food, I think go search for a basic land, right? So you could either sacrifice it for the food ability it has to gain life, or if you sacrifice it for any other reason, like something that says sacrifice an artifact to do a thing, oh look, it got sacrificed. Like that's a trigger when you sacrifice it. Yeah.
Now, there's no way I could pay this, sacrifice this, and then play this at instant speed and like get still I would have to sacrifice another land because this is already being sacked.
Right, that's being sacrificed as a cost to that. Yeah.
That's it. That was my only question. Thank you so much for clearing that up.
No
the
problem.
explanation I got yesterday was not great, but I didn't do it. I was like, hey, if you guys are telling me that's not how that works, I will listen.
So they were getting the answer right, but they weren't explaining it properly.
They weren't really explaining it. It's fine. It's spelled table. It's how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, gentlemen.
No problem.
My questions was more about earthbending and how to stop it. I don't know, like, so with earthbending. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, wait.
Okay. Oh.
Okay, now can you hear me?
I could hear you. Yeah, no problem.
I wasn't able to hear you. So earthbending and like how to stop it. So with earthbending,
Yep.
does the card get an ability? Like, does the creature get the ability?
No,
or does
no.
trigger?
So what happens is when you earthbend a land, you're not giving the land. You're turning that land into a creature, and you're giving it any number of counters that earthbending is giving it, and then you are setting up a delayed trigger that says when this is put in the graveyard or exiled, return it to the battlefield tapped. Right. That delayed trigger is generated as a result of resolving the earthbend ability. It's not an ability given to that now creature land. So like if you have an earthbent land and I do a sudden spoiling that says all of my, that I target you and all your creatures lose their abilities, that just means it loses like its mana ability that it had as a land. It's not losing the delayed trigger because that exists independently of both the land and the original source. So anything that would cause it to lose abilities is not going to work against earthbending. There's only a couple ways that I know of to kind of deal with earthbend. One of them is to find a way for it to leave the battlefield that is not dying or exile. So for example, evacuation, return all creatures to their owner's hands.
I have done that, and the other thing I've done was I put in Soulless Jailer because I'm pretty sure this works. Permanent cards in graveyards can't enter the battlefield, so if they don't exile it and they only sack the land or it dies naturally, it won't come back.
Correct. It'll still trigger, but that trigger will not get to perform the action because it'll go to the graveyard. It is a permanent in the graveyard that is trying to move directly from the graveyard onto the battlefield, and Soulless Jailer goes, "Hey, you can't do that. Stop it."
And it's because of the ideology of can't trumps can, correct?
Exactly. Yep. Restrictions always beat permission or instruction. Yes.
That's my only question, really.
Yeah, we tried Googling it yesterday, and I have a feeling I know the answer, but I want to be sure.
Sure. What's
essentially, a guy had a Bolas' Citadel out.
Okay.
So you get to pay the CMC of the card.
Pay life equal to the mana cost to play from the top of your library. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he wanted to cast a Great Henge from the top of his library, but the Great Henge also has cost reduction in it.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that the cost reduction applies, and the new CMC is the life total he'll be paying.
That is not correct. That is
so
not.
He paid the full.
Yeah.
But we weren't sure.
Yeah. So what happens is, if something is given an alternate casting cost of mana, right? So like if something said, you can pay 5 generic mana rather than paying its casting cost or whatever, right? Then in that case, you could apply cost reduction to the new cost, right? But that doesn't change what the actual mana value of or even CMC of the card is, right? So like for example, if you cast a Great Henge and you have a trigger that says you get to deal damage equal to the mana value of that spell or the casting cost of that spell, however it's worded, the cost reduction doesn't change what the printed cost is. Right. So Bolas' Citadel giving you the alternate casting cost is based off of the printed value, and cost reductions don't change how much life you're going to pay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Good to know.
Yeah, no problem.
That's my only question, but appreciate it.
No problem. Glad to help.
Okay, so I'm building a Toph deck, or I've built a Toph deck.
Is this the Naya Toph, the one that makes your artifacts lands? Yep. Okay.
That right there. I didn't know what you meant by Naya. I guess is that the color scheme?
Naya, yeah. So sometime back, the color combinations kind of got these nicknames based on the in-lore guilds that represent those
Oh yeah,
colors.
I know like some of the tri-colored, but I know most of the dual-colored.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
just
like,
didn't know
Izzet
this-
is red and blue, Golgari is green and black, Naya is
Yeah.
red, white, and green. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the way I'm leaning in this deck is artifact heavy.
Sure.
Okay, but if somebody, okay, let me just ask this.
Yeah.
So I know they become creatures, land creatures, but they're creatures.
Well, if
also,
they get earthbent, they become creatures.
Yeah, if they're earthbent, they become land creatures, but they're lands first, are they not?
So it's not a matter of what they are first, right? It's just if an effect is giving something a type, like this turns into a creature, this turns into an artifact, this turns into a land, whatever, right? If it says the phrase in addition to its other types, then it gets to keep all the other types that it already had. If it doesn't say in addition to its other types, so like for example, if I have a thing that says target creature becomes a land until end of turn or something like that, right? Then what happens is that creature stops being a creature and becomes a land. But if I have something like a Shia that says that my all of my non-token creatures are forest lands in addition to their other types, they get to keep their creatures and the fact that they're creatures, or if they're also artifact creatures or enchantment creatures, they keep all of that and just add land to the number of types that they are.
I got you. I was just curious because I just got out of a game and a dude played Evacuation.
Yeah.
And I didn't know whether or not that pops my lands back in my hands.
The ones that are earthbent, it does, because they are creatures. It doesn't matter that they're also lands. It's that they are creatures. So I
mean, I went along with it. It's just I didn't know if that was right or not.
Yeah. So the difference would be like, for example, Cyclonic Rift. If you overload Cyclonic Rift, it says basically each non-land permanent your opponent's control returns to their hand. So that's where it matters that they are lands, because it doesn't matter that they are lands and creatures. To be a non-land, land cannot be a part of its type at all.
So if I was playing against somebody and they overloaded Cyclonic Rift and I had 6 lands that were earthbent, none of them go?
Correct, because they are lands. They are not.
What about artifacts?
Your artifacts that Toph is making into lands would not go because they are lands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I know I want to reiterate this.
So just real quick, just to help clarify that, because this is where some people get mixed up, right? If something says, all things of a certain type, right? That means everything that includes that type, and it's allowed to include other things, right? Other types, right? So like Evacuation only cares that creature is one of the card types among that object. It doesn't matter if it's also an artifact or also a land. If creature is there. Now, if something says non-whatever type, right? So like Cyclonic Rift, non-land permanents doesn't mean anything that includes a permanent type other than land. It means anything that doesn't have land as part of its types at all. Non-land. It is not a land.